Hi there! Welcome back to Quick Chain Lessons by Chain Academy. Have you ever added numbers on a calculator or combined words in a sentence? Well, in JavaScript, we can do the same things with operators. Arithmetic operators are what allow us to perform math in code, like adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing numbers. And just like we can combine numbers, we can also combine strings of text. For example, joining someone's first name and last name into one full name, that is called string concatenation. So, in this section, we will learn how JavaScript uses operators not only to handle math, but also to join text together, making our programs more dynamic and flexible. So, let's go to math. Have you ever solved math problems like 2 plus 3 or 10 divided by 2? In programming, we can do the same thing using arithmetic operators. Operators are just symbols that tell the computer what kind of calculation to perform on values. For example, the plus sign adds two numbers together, the minus sign, subtract them, and so on. So whenever you see the word arithmetic in JavaScript, just think of it as math operations that we can apply directly in our code. Now let's look at the main arithmetic operators in JavaScript. These are the basic math tools we use in code. The first one is addition. This adds two numbers together like 5 plus 3 equals 8. Interestingly, the plus sign also works for joining strings, which we will see in a bit. The second one is subtraction. This subtracts one number from another, like 10 minus 4, that will be equal to 6. The third one is multiplication. Just like in math class, the asterisk multiplies numbers like 6 times 2 is equals to 12. Then division, the forward slash divides numbers. So 20 minus 5 equals to 4. While the last one is the modulo, this one is a little different. Instead of giving the result of a division, it gives you the remainder. For example, 10 divided by 3 equals to 1 because 3 goes into 10 three times with 1 left over. These five operators form the foundation of arithmetic in JavaScript, and you will use them all the time when working with numbers. For you to see it clearly, let's have a quick demo. In order to start our code, let us again create a new file here in the previous project folder that we have. Let's have here quick chain episode 5.html. Let's have here the boilerplate, and let's have quick chain JavaScript part 2. Now let's have the script tag, script, type, application, JavaScript. All right. And then inside of it, we will have our arithmetic operators. The first one that we will have is the sign of addition. Let us have here let, then sum equals 2. We will have here two numbers, and then we will have an operator, the plus sign. So in other words, you can directly put a computation inside a variable, and it will return you the result based from the operation that you have declared. Let's say, for example, sum equals to 5 plus 3, and then let's console.log. Let's have your sum. Let's play this. This is our browser. And let's have right click here and go to console, and you will have here number 8. The same thing with other operators. Let's have let, and let's have difference, and let's have 10 minus 4. Then console.log, let's have difference, and we will have 6. Now, next is multiplication. Tablet, multiplication, or product. Better to call it product. And let's say 6 times 2. And let's console.log. Let's have product. So we have 12 because 6 times 2 equals to 12. Then let's have division, which we will call quotient, 20 divided by 5. And let's have console.log quotient. And you will have 4 because 20 divided by 5 is 4. And let's have the modulo, the remainder. Let's say 10. And then the modulus operator. Let's console.log this remainder. And we will have 1 because 1 will be the remainder if you try to divide 10 divided by 3. All right. So earlier, we saw that the plus sign can add numbers. But in JavaScript, it also has another job: joining strings together. In JavaScript, this is commonly done using the plus operator. When applied to strings, the operator combines them instead of adding them like numbers. If one of the values in the operation is a string, JavaScript automatically converts the other value to a string as well. So the result is always a single combined string. This makes concatenation useful for building messages, combining words, or dynamically creating text in a program. However, concatenation can become harder to read when many strings are combined. That's why modern JavaScript also offers what we call the template literals, using backticks, which provide a cleaner and more readable way to join strings. Template literals are a modern way to build strings in JavaScript. Instead of using the plus operator to join strings, template literals use backticks and allow you to insert variables or expressions directly using the dollar sign and the curly braces. They are much cleaner and more readable than traditional concatenation. Another advantage is that they naturally support multi-line strings, something that was difficult with the old method. Because of these benefits, template literals are preferred modern approach for working with strings in JavaScript. Now, to see how to do concatenation and template literal in code, let us have a quick demo. Let's comment these codes that we have here, slash, asterisk, and the closing of the comment will be asterisk, slash. Now, let's have here two variables. Let's say let or cons first name equals to chain, and then cons last name is academy. Let's try to combine this together. Cons combine equals to first name plus last name. That's console combine. So you will have chain academy as one combined sentence. So now, if you want to put a space, you need to have another plus here and have a string that represents the space. Okay? So that's how easy it is to concatenate strings. However, if you have lots of strings that you need to concatenate, it will become more and more complex. So we have what we call template literals. Let's say, for example, let's have here cons and student first name. Let's say, for example, cons to Alice. Let's have another cons student last name. Let's have would. Let age equals to 25. And let's say let school equals to chain academy. So in order for you to use template literal, let's create a variable here to organize our code. Let's say combined properly as a variable name. And to use a template literal, you need to use the backtick, opening and closing, and then you can declare the text that you want. Let's say, for example, my name is, and you will see the string here. Oops, I forgot to put console.log have combined properly. Let's add here a semicolon to correct the syntax. So you will see my name is, and then you can insert a variable directly using the dollar sign and curly braces. And let's have your student first name. And you will see that Alice here will be reflected. And let's combine it with another, the last name, student last name. And automatically you will see Alice Wood, and the space is automatic because you put a space here. If you try to remove the space, you will see that it will also remove the space on the output. Now, if you want to add more, let's say, for example, let's put a comma here to represent the comma. My name is Alice Wood. My age is another variable, the age, and I attend school at dollar sign, open and close curly bracket, and we will put here the school, which contains Chain Academy. My name is Alice Wood. My age is 25 and I attend school Chain Academy. Thank you for joining me for this session of Quick Chain Lessons by Chain Academy. If you want to follow us, you can visit our social media pages or you can directly see our courses at www.chain-academy.io.